Hello, farming friends. Welcome back to another edition of Farming Simulator 2015 with me, Mr. Moose. And we're continuing on with our North Brabant series. And when we last left off, we had just purchased our chicks and put those into the broiler to fatten them up so we can have our fattened chickens. And so those are in there doing their thing. And so now we need to get back to the harvest. And so that's what we're going to do in this episode. We've got 2 fields of rye that need to be harvested. So we're going to jump in the combine and do that. We might do a little cultivating as well. We'll see what else we can get into this episode. But at this point, we need to jump into the harvester, get it fired up, and get going. And we'll go ahead and automate this guy and let him handle the duties, and then we'll just kind of chase him. So we're going to use, we're going to clear that out. We're just going to go into course play. And this is field number 30. I'm going to calculate my head distance. Starting corner. This is going to be the northwest corner. Hate when I miss it. And then we're headed east. We're going to do 2 headlands. And I think that should be good. Go hit it there. Looks like we're good. I'm going to tell this thing to stop when we unload it, because I'm going to kind of just manually chase it and then throw the tipper where I think it needs to be to unload, so it'll stop when it unloads. Alright, let's run this up. Get that going. And we'll set him to drive course. Alright, and since we got him running, we obviously need to mow a little grass. So let's get Sven making some income to offset our expenses of having hired hands. And one thing I've started doing is, as I go into these fields, now that I know I have to use that pause point and I've pretty much got everything set up the way it needs to be, I've started saving my combined courses, which is nice. So every time I come to this field, all I have to do is go to my mowing subfolder, select mow and sell. When I hit that, it brings up the route, and then all I got to do is go do it. Alright, let's get this guy fired up. And we'll send him out to mow. Alright. And we need this guy here to go unload our combine. So let's get him rolling. And we'll head on over to the field and start doing our thing. So I'm really curious about how that chicken fattening is going to work, and I have decided, I talked a little bit about possibly planting some beets or potatoes to try and get the earth fruit for that. But before I do that, I've decided I'm going to let that run a little bit before I do anything, just to see what happens, because I got to thinking that maybe, just maybe, that would balance out, because I recall when we did our cows and we set up the dairy cows, initially when I had everything in there, they didn't come up to 100% productivity, but later on they did. So maybe it's just a matter of needing to give that a little bit of time to work through and figure out that where it's at. So that's what we're going to do, is just oops, way to run into your combine there and mess that up. Well, I got that all jacked up. Let's see if I can pull up and... No, he's 100%. Oh well. Wow, I'm just denting all my equipment up. Nothing's ever going to work anymore. Oh. Alright, so this guy will unload. And while he's doing that, we're going to go and fire up this guy, do some cultivating. Anyway, so we're going to let that chicken mod just kind of run for maybe an hour or so, and then let's see what it does. Maybe it'll balance itself out, and we'll get some productivity out of it, and we won't have to worry about the earth fruit. If not, then we'll attack that earth fruit situation. But again, probably not going to plant any fields until late in the afternoon on this map, because I want to see what the weather's going to do tomorrow. And even though I have plant withering turned off, I'd rather not have the field sit there for a long period of time. Oh, I passed up the field. Doop 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 doop. Not paying attention to what I'm doing. Push comes to shove, though, we'll plant some earth fruit and we'll get some pigs. I'm not that big impressed, though, on the profitability of the pigs. They take a lot of work, and you just don't seem to get the money out of them that I thought you would. After doing them on My Big Country, I let them go, and it took a long time to get their slaughter weight up to where I could sell them off. And I didn't think I got enough money out of it to really justify using that mod. Back this guy up. I'll give it another go, and we'll see what it does. Alright. Let's try to do a little bit more in-cab driving for you guys, for those who like that. And I don't have mirrors because I do, for recording purposes, I turn this down to medium. So that eliminates the mirrors, if you're wondering why I don't have mirrors. Make sure I'm hanging over in the grass a little bit. Trying to figure out where the right balance is for that. Looks like maybe just keeping that front headlight right on the edge is the way to go. So if I keep my left front headlight right on the edge of the field, seems like my combine's working pretty good. Alright, my cultivator. Why do I say combine? Speaking of combine, it is full, so we're gonna have to go empty it. So we'll stop right here. Tab into this guy. And he's right down in front of us. Sweet! So we'll just run down here and toss this guy under the pipe. And then we can tab right back into our cultivator. That guy's good. Alright, get back in cab. Yeah, we'll do that. So I hope you guys are liking this series. It's a pretty fun map. It's got a few things that I wish were incorporated into it. You know, when I look at My Big Country and I look at this map, I sort of wish My Big Country had the chickens and the beef. That aspect of it would be awesome to have. But at the same time, I sort of wish this map had a little bit more, I wish it was a little more scenic than My Big Country, or like My Big Country. And the big thing I really wish this map had, and I'm sort of disappointed in, is the lack of variety on sell points. You basically only have 2 sell points, and those sell points don't compete with each other. you're getting the same price for your product no matter where you go. So it doesn't matter if I go to the windmill or if I go to the co-op. I'm getting the same price for my goods at both of them. I'd like to see a little competition, and also, give me an incentive to go to one over the other during the game. And it gives me, a reason to go to the windmill. I guess if I drive the price down at one of them by putting 100,000 liters of corn into one of them, then that might make a difference. But I really haven't noticed that so far because I haven't done it. But I'm just looking at it and thinking, well, I've only got 2 sell points for my grains, and both of them match exactly the same in the PDA. So I think that could be worked on as well. So yeah, wonder what you guys think of this map now that we've played it and you've seen a little bit of it. That and the really disappointing thing, I will honestly say, is the lack of forestry in it. That one section of processable, cuttable trees is really weak. It's all these. Now, my big country has so many trees on it that are cuttable that it probably bogs the game down a little bit. It probably is a reason for the low FPS that I get on it sometimes that I was talking about. But this place could use one more small forest area. That one little area, you could deforest it in one sitting easily with a scorpion. You could just go in there, drop all those trees to the ground, and be done with it. And then you don't have any more forestry to do, well, at least for 10 days while you wait for your trees to regrow. At least give me, a couple of forestry zones that are processable, so I can, because there's a lot of people that are playing this game now just for the forestry. It's a big draw for them. They're loving it, and that's what they're into. So, this map could use a little bit more of it. Alright, so we're done with our routes around the back of this field, so all the dumping is going to be on the front now. So let's just take this guy up here. I gotta drive through the fruit again. So yeah, that's the only other really big drawback I see is they didn't allow enough, and there's a lot of wasted space on this map where they could have put forestry. There's where they put that whole buffer of trees. Like if we bring up the map, and over here where you see the grain mill, this whole row of trees could have been harvestable. And then this section over here, I realized that you can actually drive back into here on the map. So you've got this whole area that's empty back here that could have been utilized, and all this tree here is all that fake thick tree. You can't cut it, you can't do anything with it, but they also lace the trees in so tight that they don't want you getting back in here. So but if you come down here, you can get up behind it. So it's kind of silly to waste all that space and not just put, even if you really space the trees out far, you could have done something cool with it. Alright, Combine, you don't have to pull right up on me. Alright, so let's get this out of the way. I was sitting there talking too much and the Combine got up on me. I'm gonna pull this guy, park it right here, and when that guy gets down here, he should pipe out and dump, and then he'll go on his way. So yeah, that's just my general impressions of the map now that I've played. several hours of it. Probably like 100. But yeah, nice map, lots of detail in it, but I think it misses the mark a little. I'd probably give it like an 8 if I was rating the map, for just overall. I mean, when you look at the map, it's definitely very nice, and I think by limiting the number of trees that are harvestable, you do keep your FPS down. But at the same time, when people are really looking to incorporate that into their gameplay, I think you have to incorporate it into your maps. So that's just my personal opinion on it. Send all comments and hate mail to moosesedit at... No, I'm just kidding. If it's one of the developers watching. How dare him down our map? That's a 10 out of 10 map. Just my opinion, dude. In my opinion, and 50 cents might get you a cup of coffee. Alright, so it's 8:11 in game. And just out of curiosity, I want to see what our chickens are doing. So let's take a look. Oh, there's that rain in the forecast. And see what I mean? The prices, you got your grain mill and your co-op here. The prices are exactly the same. No fluctuation in them. That's just disappointing. And let's see. Come over here to chickens. Oh, now it's saying productivity's at 0. Oh my goodness. Gonna have to figure that one out for sure. Oh well. Hopefully that'll resolve itself. Like I said, I did read somewhere that said that mod didn't actually work. So hopefully we're not just wasting time. Which it was at 90%. You know, when we originally put the chickens in and got them going, it got up to 90% productivity. But then I did close the game down to you know, render my video from that episode and then go do some real life things. And so who knows, maybe it takes a little while for it to start back up. We'll see. I hope not too long, because I'm only going to play tonight long enough to record this video, and then I'm going to shut it down again. And if it keeps going to 0% productivity, we're never going to get anywhere. Alright. Oh, that combine's done again. So let's spin around, go get him. Oh, that's the one thing with this combine. It only holds so little grain. You know, 1-2 passes and it's full again. Be really nice to get a bigger one. So you know what that means? I need to stop spending money and start making money. Stop blowing money on chickens and tippers and get back to the good stuff that matters. Just a little spot over there. I'm just trying to keep the outside of my fender and headlight over there in that chopped straw, and that's just about got me straight up back in behind us. And I apologize for the erratic camera stuff. Like I said, I'm not used to driving in cab a ton. It's not something I really do in my basic gameplay, but I do know people like it. And like I said, my priority on these videos is to educate, to give you a fresh perspective on some stuff, and at the same time be a little bit entertaining, so you at least enjoy what you're seeing. Alright. I know I was listening to Ian Robson's video the other day, and I guess somebody had challenged him to do an entire live stream from first person view. I couldn't do it. I'll tell you that much right now. I would go crazy. And I've said it once, and I'll say it again several times. It's primarily because I just think your field of view is a little too far forward. I think it needs to be back just a little bit. Give me a little bit more peripheral vision in cab, and you know, you get that by just bringing the field of view back just a little bit. Let's see what our mowing's at. 76% on the mowing, 78% on harvesting. And again, if you're watching these videos for the first time and you're wondering how I'm figuring that out, when I close my help menu, I'm running an app called I'm running a mod called Glance, and that allows me to see what my other active units are doing. It tells me what fields they're in, and you know what their fill levels are, things of that nature. So but it's pretty small. You'll see up in the upper left hand corner. You probably can't make it out in the videos, but that's what that is. It's a really good mod to have. It's not really an essential mod. Sam Thomas and I were talking about this the other day. There's really, I mean, the essential mods for you to get, number one is courseplay. Right off the bat, that is, if you're going to go out and put any one mod into the game, that's the one. There's going to be mods that you're going to have to get for certain maps, but just for enhancing your gameplay so that you can play single player like your multiplayer, you got to get courseplay. And if you're looking for some how-to videos, Sam Thomas 31, you'll see him listed in my featured YouTubers or whatever. He does a great he's got a good collection of those on how to use courseplay. Does a real good job of explaining it. So if you want to learn how to use courseplay, check out his YouTube channel, and you can learn a lot from him. But that would be like number one on my list. And then after that, I think probably Glance and Drive Control would be the next two that are really I really think are must-haves. Drive Control specifically because, you know, it gives you a lot of different stuff. It gives you a shuttle control that, oh dude, that's the one thing I do not like about courseplay. If you tell courseplay to stop when it's unloading, the one thing it will do is when it unloads to me, and see how it didn't get all of it out, it left 2%, it will sit there and wait for that guy to come back and load. So now it's kind of stuck and won't move on unless I tell it to drive now, maybe. Nope, it's still not going to move. So it's not going to go anywhere until we go dump and come back and get that last 2% out of it, which is kind of silly. So somebody else I heard mention of that, and I had noticed it myself, and so what it is, if you set drive or course play and you tell it to stop while unloading, when you stop and you physically unload it, it's going to sit there until I come back and get that last 2%. Crazy. It's got to be a little glitch in the program. It should know that once I drive off, it can resume work. And it seems like it only does that if you fill up all the way to the brim and you can't take any more. It seems like if I pull up underneath it and I've got an empty trailer, but I go past the pipe and then come back to it, it seems like it'll go ahead and resume its activity as long as it's got headroom. Got to look at that. We'll have to test that in a minute and see if it does it. Alright, this is what we got, rye? First time coming in here to do rye. So come in pretty tight and find that trigger. Come on, there's our trigger. We'll dump out our rye. Nice. Head back to our field. Guess I could drive that from first person. Let's see. What were we talking about? Oh, drive control. Cool things about drive control that it gives you a bunch of features that you may or may not ever use. Like shuttle mode, I've got that turned off. It gives you shuttle mode, which basically it forces you to change by using, I think you use the space bar to do it. To switch from forward and reverse, you actually have to manually change forward and reverse. I don't need that, so I've got that turned off. But drive control gives you the ability to do the four-wheel drive, to lock in your front differentials, to lock in your rear differentials. Like I told you, it gives you down to the it gives you the ability to change the amount of throttle you can give, and it also gives you the ability to change limit your gear ratio. So those little things right there. And then the biggest thing though is giving you the ability to start the vehicle when you get in and leave it running when you get out, unlike the regular in-game mode where when you get out of a tractor, it turns itself off. And so every time that you get into the tractor, you've got to wait for it to restart and warm up before you can pull off and do anything. That's sort of annoying to me, and that's the big reason I got drive control in the first place. Look, it thinks it needs to unload itself, and now it goes off. So just out of we'll check this in a minute. I can't do it right now. So let's move over here. So yeah, if I was to tab out of this now into this one without drive control, I would have to wait for it to restart and warm up before I can move. And that's annoying. That wastes a lot of gameplay. Especially the waiting on the motor to warm up part of it. Alright, so let's finish this field up, and we'll be caught up with our cultivating. And of course we'll have to cultivate the those other two fields when we get the rye done. Then we'll be pretty much back to a situation where we need to plant, unless the canola gets done pretty quick. Alright, our Dutes Far that's mowing grass is at the pause, so we're gonna have to go empty that real quick. So let's tab over to it, and I'll turn off that, spin around, and so another mod I've got that you might be wondering about, or you might find useful if you do play with a gamepad, and like I do, whether it's a PS3, PS4 controller, or you're using the Microsoft Xbox controller. If you're using one of those in gamepad, and the default speed of that is like this when you're turning with the cam, you'll notice I'm able to get nice fast cam turns. So if you're wondering how I'm doing that, because it took me a while to figure out what mod allows folks to do that, because otherwise your turns are real slow like this, and it's frustrating because you want to just go ahead and get it turned all the way around fast. There's a mod called Quick Cam, and that will allow you to, it gives you 4 times the speed of your cam turning. Very helpful mod if you're playing with a gamepad. That's another one you might want to look into as well. Alright, 80% on this guy. Let's do this. Let's see if we can stop him, pull off, and get him to restart without fully unloading him. Alright, he stops. And then I'm going to pull off. What's he going to do? Oops. So yeah, he's pretty much just going to sit there. So it's not really a glitch, it's just what it does. Nope, look, he's pulling off. No, he's sitting there. Okay, well, that's it then. So yeah, he's going to sit until I get him completely unloaded. That's kind of silly. Alright. Well, enough experimenting. Let's get back and finish this field up. Yeah, you think that thing would be smart enough that when you drove off, it would just go ahead and resume. I mean, it pulls the pipe back in, but it won't resume going ahead with the harvest. Interesting thing to keep in mind. So we just about got this field done. We got a little bit of cleanup work to do. I'll pull out for that so I can see what I'm doing. Corners don't really bother me that much. I probably said this before. The only reason I've gotten into cleaning corners up now, I had a bad incident on My Big Country where just like a little bit of canola got left in a corner, and I dumped a trailer and it picked the, I was like harvesting wheat. I dumped the trailer, or I dumped the combine, and when it went to start back, it picked up that little bit of canola and it went and ran the entire field without harvesting any more of the wheat. And it took forever for me to realize what had happened. So because I had everything automated and I wasn't paying attention to it. Kind of frustrating because I ended up having to basically do the field twice. So since then I've been paying close attention to making sure that if there's a little bit left in the corner, I've been trying to make sure I get all that cleaned up, so I don't leave that. Honestly, I'd almost prefer to leave that barren, because most of the time the combine's not going to get it running a headland. So, and most of the time it's going to miss those corners until they get that part of the until they get that part fixed. All right. Aha, look at there. 100% productivity. So guess what? No need to get earth fruits. Our chickens are doing their thing. They're at 100%. Now with the water mod, they should really get up to 110, but I'm happy with 100%. So we'll see. Maybe by tomorrow we'll have a little slaughter weight added onto them, or a little fatten weight. Oh, the Sampo is hung on a tree. I'm not sure if course play can get off of that. Oh, got off. Cool, cool. We'll let it run its thing. This guy's probably almost done. All right. So I do have one more field over there that needs to be combined as well, where we or cultivated, where we took that corn out in the very beginning. I never have done anything with that field. I think we're going to go ahead and replant that in corn, and we'll rent a silage head, and we'll chaff that and put it right there in that one silage bunker. That way, when we do our pigs and cows, we'll have that extra corn chaff that we can ferment. All right. Well, guys, we're coming up on our 30-minute mark for our video for today. I'll tell you what, I'm going to probably go ahead and finish this field off camera and get it done. And who knows? We might come back and do that next rye field. It's 8:30 in the morning, and I don't want to get too far in today with that. Like I said, with that rain coming in tomorrow, I just kind of want to avoid getting too much planting done until later in the afternoon. So what I may do is go ahead, harvest this field, and then I may fast track a little bit forward to the afternoon, and then we'll harvest that last little bit of rye and do some planting in our next video from this series. So that might be what we do, and that way we'll have some fields ready. Maybe we go cultivate those sugar beets under. Still got to get that done. So all right, until the next time, I do appreciate you guys stopping by and watching the video today. If you enjoyed it, as always, make sure you give me that like. It doesn't really do, honestly, it doesn't do that much for me, but it does let me know that you enjoyed the video. That's really my only communication with you, unless you leave a comment and tell me what's on your mind. Otherwise, like I said, I appreciate you watching the video. Hope you found it entertaining or useful, and hope you come back tomorrow as we do another farming simulator video with me, Mistermoose, and who knows what we'll get into. But until then, stay safe, and as always, have a great day, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks again for watching this video, and if you made it all the way to the end, well, maybe you liked it. So give me a big old thumbs up. That like goes a long way. Also, subscribe to this channel. I will update the videos every single day, so there'll always be something new for you to see. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back again tomorrow. Thanks for your support.